Hey everybody, it's Zafir. Welcome back to No Love Laws 2.0. And today I have my friend Dion here. Ooh. So today we're just gonna sit here and have a little talk and have a little table talk. You guys remember that from season one when we did table talk? We did that in January. So we're gonna bring that back and just talk about different subject and how we feel about certain things. So we want to get Dee's perspective on moving to a new city and meeting new people. How do you engage with meeting new people in a new city? How does that make you feel? Like, do you feel like sometimes people could be overbearing, or do you feel like sometimes people are too standoffish? What would you say?
It was weird for me when I first moved here. The people were just strange. Now, I'm not talking junk about North Carolina, but it was just a different vibe altogether. I thought it would be nice and friendly, friendly Southerners and everything like that, but it was the complete opposite. Now, I met some good people, but for the most part, everybody was off doing their own thing, was almost like really selfish, and I felt like an outsider. And I was, because I was new.
Well, how long have you been in the state you live in?
2009.
Wow. So, how do you feel now? Is it a little different now that you technically have been in the state over 10 years? So, that makes you not like a Southerner, but it makes you like more hmm, understanding of the environment.
Definitely understanding the environment. I've gotten used to it. But it's still not the same. It will never be the same from where I came from, so it's definitely, I'm more comfortable now, and I accept it is what it is. So
So tell us about your life when you moved here from New York. Like, did you have a more exciting life in New York, or do you feel like this is a different era for you, a different state of mind? Because we go through these different chapters in life with people, and sometimes by ourselves, and we learn more about ourselves when we try new things. And sometimes, in order to grow, you got to get uncomfortable. So yeah, maybe that made you uncomfortable moving here. But how do you feel now?
I mean, I was definitely uncomfortable. You're in a different state, different people, different surroundings. So, but now I'm good. I done bought a house,
Amen.
and doing my thing. If I was in New York City or Boston, I would have to work 20 jobs, in order to buy a house, because you know how it is. The cost of living is just crazy. But yeah, I'm good now. Yeah.
Tell me about Boston. How was Boston? I never been to Boston.
Boston's like a mini New York. I spent my early 20s and 30s in Massachusetts and did a lot of hanging out and a lot of partying. And, my network was big because I've been there for a long time.
Yeah.
But Boston reminds me of it's like a mini New York, basically. Yeah.
That's how I felt. That's how I felt about when I went to Charlotte. I said, "This is a mini New York City." It reminded me of a mini keyword, mini, because there's parts of New York I can't even. I've never even explored, and I've lived in three out of the three of the boroughs out of them. How many boroughs is there? Four or five. We got Staten Island, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan. That's it, right? The Bronx. Yeah. So I've lived in the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens. I worked in Staten Island, never lived there. It's cheaper, but it's a no. So I know that for me, when I moved here, a lot of the Southerners down here were too on me. Like they wanted to be my best friend. Like, oh, you're my best friend. I'm like, oh, you don't know me. I could be anything, and I felt like it was too much. I Yeah, like I like social, but I don't like nobody on top of me.
It's a different experience for men, for whatever reason. It's a different experience for men.
Okay.
Okay, whatever. Me, black woman, forget it. They can't stand you. So I had a different experience. Yeah.
For me, I would say that my experience here actually, I felt like I was overstimulated. Like, and I mean like, I became everybody. Keyword. I became their best friend. They weren't mine. Because I feel like it's not necessary. Let's just get to know each other, vibe out, have a good time. But different experiences I had. Like I had one person down here like got possessive of me. And I just was like, whoa, we ain't fucking. like, you know my dude. Like, why you on me like that? and they got possessive of me, like, oh, I don't want you with friends with this person. I don't want, and I'm like, I only knew you about a year. Like, what's going on? So have you had any experiences with like women or men that just was like on you, like trying to implement themselves into your life? Because sometimes I see that as somebody trying to attach themselves to you, but that's not always for a good reason. Sometimes people want to attach themselves to you because they see life in you where they're dead in their eyes. So, I just try to always make sure that I attach I get around people who are openly okay with being alone, but openly okay with being in a group.
Yeah. Well, no, I haven't had that experience. And I'm one of those people that are okay with being alone because that's just my life. So, yes. No, but I haven't had that experience.
Well, lucky you.
Yeah.
Because I definitely had to shed some people out real quick because they just was on me. So I know that my experience with, like, I've lived in Florida, was another place I lived. Florida, I loved. Not living there. The experience of the people. The people were welcoming, loving. Like, they was like, don't leave. Like, don't leave. Don't go back to New York. And I said, at the time, I was married to someone else, and they was like, listen, I don't like it down here. I want to go back to New York. So, and then why the hell 5 months later we break up? I could have just stayed my ass in Florida. I done rented my condo out. So I think that definitely is okay to finding new experiences in different places. But it also is something that you have to watch out, because there will be leeches and people that come around you to sit here and just consume and eat off of you. And sometimes I tell people don't only use you with finances. People will use you emotionally. I don't need to hear that Craig knocked you in your damn eye this week. He knocked you in your eye for 5 weeks in a row. So it's just like, I am big on not allowing people to drain my emotional energy as well as my finances. Like, I got sick people who was having their kids text me asking for money. I've had friends sitting here just overly calling me with their issues. And I even had to tell one dude I was friends with, like, my dick ain't in it. Why are you mad at me because I'm friends with a dude that fucked your girl? She wasn't your girl when he fucked her. What's the problem? Oh, nah, that's fake as fucking you. Listen, I ain't fucking.
Okay.
Yeah, like I ain't give it a schlong, so why you mad at me? And that made me realize that even though that person was from New York, there was a Harlem dude too. Real Harlem. Like Lamar would tell you, like Harlem to the accent, just Harlem. Like everything Harlem. Like Jadakiss and them. So I feel like this. I feel like when you move somewhere else and you get to know people, it's okay to be cautious. I think you really do have to be cautious, because you never know where people are mentally at or where they will be. Because I was cool with somebody that was calling me their best friend that shot their best friend. And I said, you still going through that situation, even though their best friend ended up getting murdered like a year after they shot them, but they shot them. So they still have an open case with the DA or whatever the case would be. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to be your best friend. You over here shooting niggas, like, because you in your emotional feelings. Like, I just felt like, honestly, moving here, I think that the people are weirder here than in New York, because I know the people in New York are weird. I rode the subways, the buses, the trains from every borough. So I know what it takes to live in New York. So I knew, like, you live in New York, you can live anywhere. Not just financially, just with the mental aspect of how to protect yourself. And I knew that, I had to shut it down for a while.
They say people from New York are mean. They don't talk to you. They don't do this. They don't do that. But people down here are double, what do you want to call it? Double-faced it? Twisted? A double-edged sword. You know what I mean?
Double-edged sword.
So, that friendly Southern thing, you got to watch out for it,
Yeah.
They used to call me Yankee when I first moved down here. Oh, you a Yankee? What is that? Why are you calling me? I'm not calling you a crazy person. Why are you calling me a Yankee? It doesn't matter where I'm from. But I'm more nice than a lot of these Southern people are. They're like, you're a different kind of New Yorker, because you real nice. But don't take my niceness for weakness, because it's not.
Come on.
I prefer to be that way, you know what I'm saying? Rather than the other side. But yeah.
Listen, I ain't mad at that, because they always be like, oh, you act like a New Yorker. You act like a New Yorker, and they act like I don't sit up here be friendly with people and stuff like that. And I be like, no, I really am friendly. I'm at drink. Pour me some more wine. So So I really am friendly. I really am nice, but I'm not in the mix of sitting here having everybody in my space. And the biggest thing, damn. So like you see I'm hot. You know, liquor make me hot. He went to go do what it do. So, so you know, I'm like one of those people. I'm really nice, but at the same time, I really don't want to engage too much with people all in my house or in my space. I'm a big thing of not letting people know where I live. I don't know, is that a New York thing? Because even in New York, like you didn't even know what building I lived in. I'll meet you on the block, up the block, around the corner. Right. Yeah, because I'll be like, oh, they be like, unless you come into my home, you don't need to know where I live.
Exactly.
How do you feel about that, Lamar?
Oh, that's not a New York thing. That's a Southern thing.
Y'all Southerners, I tell somebody one time when it was like, oh, you could just come over here and show up anytime and hang out. I said, no, the South is everything is too far to be doing that.
Because down here in the South, we got pit bulls and shotguns. So yeah, most of us leave our doors open, but if you crazy enough to walk in our door, you know,
that's right. Definitely licensed to carry. Okay. And I will keep them on deck and ready to go. But I definitely think that for me, what it comes down to is when you try to experience a different place, go into it with an open mind, but also be protective of yourself mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. You cannot allow everybody to absorb your energy. Sometimes I think that a lot of people are succubus, like they like to attach themselves on and just leech. And it does not always mean financial. You know, I've had friends that it was at a point where I'm like, don't call me with this no more. Don't call me with this no more. Because at this point, you like it. You know, you like what you go through in life. So how do you feel, D, about people who continue to call you about the same situations that they transpire and continue to go through, but at the same time, it's just like, what you ain't changing. Why you expect change if you ain't changing something? You know, so how do you feel about people who continue to call you or text you and tell you things that they go through, and it's the same old story, same old plan, and like, how do you intake that?
Well, I don't feel no way other than, you know, some people just like to live in chaos, right? Some people get used to living like that, and it's hard to break that chain. And some people will eventually, you know, depending on how deep it gets, you know what I mean? Some people, it takes longer to get out of it. Some people realize it right away. And some people get used to living like that, you know? And so I don't feel no kind of way about it. You know, like I had a friend that was dealing with a abusive husband, and she would call me and talk to me about it, and they would break up, and she would move out, and then she would get back and back and forth. But now we don't even talk no more. You know, because it was draining. It was real draining. So I don't know, you know.
So how do you deal? Like, what do you say?
Well, when it was my friend, I was like, girl, you shouldn't be going through that. You're better than that. You know what I'm saying? You're carrying a family. He's using you, and he's abusing you, and he's cheating on you, and he's quitting the job every other month so that you can pay all the bills. What are you doing? You know what I mean? So I would just talk to her and listen to her and be there for her. But after a while, that was, you know, she stopped calling me, I guess, after she got back with him for the last time, because she didn't want me to know that she got back with him. Yes. And now I haven't heard from her since. So now how do you feel about that? I mean, how can you feel about that? You know? So
I definitely, Lamar wants to chime in.
Well, as for me, it was for my sister. She used to hang out with this friend. She would always text other dudes, get her nails done, get her hair done. But every time she get around my sister, she ain't got no money. But she wants to go out to eat. And then when she got out to eat, she want to get the most expensive thing on the menu. So I told my sister, I was like, you gotta leave. She said, oh no, she's from Maryland. Oh, she ain't got no job like that. I was like, both of y'all work at the same job. Y'all get the same check. Y'all work the same hours. She know what you bringing in. why is she leeching off you? Oh, well, she got a kid and she take care of her mother. I said, that sounds like a you problem. You Saturday night, you taking care of her like you are me.
Okay.
She got a boyfriend in Maryland. They knew somebody. So now I told my sister, let her go.
Yeah.
Took her 3 years to get it, but she let her go.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's married to some basketball court coach.
Well, I can say for me, when I had a friend who was pregnant, living in the hotel because her baby daddy put her out, I told y'all this story before. You know what I had to do? I had to block her. I had to block her because I said, you like this life. You do. Because how does he put you out, move his side chick in your home, and you're in a hotel pregnant, and you also have his kid? And then he comes beat your ass at the hotel too, and fucks you, and then leaves, and then comes back and do it again. Okay. And then you get pregnant by him again. Meanwhile, like I told y'all before, the side chick that lives in the home, which is the main chick, is now pregnant and literally about to have her baby any day, and you 2 months from having yours. And then you still allow him to do this, even though this young lady has moved into your home. At this point, you're the problem. You know, we got to start telling our friends or people, listen, you the problem. Now, you know what I do? I tell my friends when they keep telling me the same story over and over. I'll be like, you like that shit. Like, no, I do. I tell people that. Because I'll just be like, I'll be like, I can't deal with this. Like, what is the point of continue to tell me the same story over and over when you're not willing to do nothing about it to change it? So I noticed that a lot of people don't like to call me and tell me stuff no more because because I don't just want to entertain it. I just be like, I don't have the energy. I have so much going on in my own life. I don't feel like giving you 10 minutes out my energy to even hear this because it's a story I've heard so many times. Now, don't get me wrong. When somebody tell me something the first time, I listen. Second time, I listen. Third time, I listen. Fourth time, I start breathing hard because I start getting annoyed. But I start breathing hard because I start getting aggravated. But I just be like this. Listen. Yeah, not again. Like, listen, you like it. You love it. You want it. You desire it. Because if you didn't, you would change it. And I feel like certain people age because they physically, but do not age mentally. Because how you still dealing with certain things and you almost in your 40s and 50s and you still dealing with childish things like that with a man cheating on you, leaving, not paying their bills, beating you upside your head. Now, I'm not saying it's easy to get out of domestic violence. They say the hardest time is when you leave. That's the most dangerous and critical time. But damn, you only gonna knock my cells across my head a few times before I'm out. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is I have never been in an abusive relationship where I was physically hurt, right? But I've been in ones where like emotionally manipulated, like that. And I felt like for me, it was just like, I ain't got to put up with this. Even if it hurt me, I won't even let you know that. It'll hurt me so bad, and I'll be still moving on. What about you? How do you feel about that?
As you were talking, I was remembering when I was in New York, and I had this friend. We were real close, but her man was real jealous, and he would knock her upside the head out in the street, degrade her, talk to her real bad and everything like that. I'm looking like, oh, my God. Because back in the day, nobody called the cops, nobody cared or whatever, that was back in the day. And I would see this all the time. I used to talk to her. I would cry for her. I would feel so bad. Like this man was going to kill her one day. And then, I don't know what happened. She just disappeared, but I never heard from her again. But it used to make me so angry, just seeing that. Like, why won't you leave this man? Like, what is wrong with you? So I don't know if he threatened her life or whatever, but it was just very upsetting. Disturbing.
I definitely feel that. Lamar wants to chime in.
Well, I was in a relationship with a dude for 7 years. We did fought a lot. His favorite quote when he got mad was, "I could break you, and I could rebuild you back up." Mm-hmm. At the time, I was not talking to any of my family members They didn't want to be around him. They didn't want to be around me because I was with him. He was also the one that put my ass in jail. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, and then when I got out, it was on like a day. When I got out, he proposed to me to I'm going to marry you. I said, no. No. So the last time he put his hands on me, he went to his room, and I picked up a nice little skillet.
Oh.
And went outside his head with it. And then I packed stuff up and I left. He was not that on the big with Spectrum TV going on.
He did the right thing for you. See, I ain't had nobody try to rock and sock my hood. Cause I just think they already know what type of time I'm on. And it's not about, I'm the biggest battle fighter in the world. It's like for me, for somebody to physically touch me, I have had it happen, and I just look at them like, don't make me do this. Like, don't make me do this, because I'm going to be the one in trouble for when we done with this. Because you started it, and I'm going to finish it. And, that happened to me years ago. But I beat the case because this man came all the way from the Bronx to Long Island with nothing on but a trench coat around my birthday. Yeah. And he came there, but it's like I told him, like, yo, I can't mess with you no more. It was a dude after I left my husband, a little bit during my husband. But anyway, so we're going to keep it real on this podcast. And my ex-husband. So whatever the case may be, he sat up there and was like, I don't want to break up. You're not going to break up with me. I said, boy, you better get your crazy ass up out of here. He told me he ain't going nowhere. When he pulled off his coat, he was butt ass naked, and he started hurting himself. But he has done that before. He used to mutilate, cut himself and stuff like that. So he was like, he was. Because one time I couldn't see him, he bashed his head into the mirror and split his shit open on FaceTime because I just couldn't see him. And I was like, I can't come see you. I'm busy. You live in the Bronx. I live in Long Island at the time. And ultimately what happened was I end up fucking him up, right? But he started it. But guess what? We all got in trouble. And it took 8 months to clear my name for that situation. 8 months of continuous. And then I said, when they realized he kept texting me and calling me, and there was a stay away order for both of us, and I was like, he's still calling me, texting me, telling me he want to be back with me. And they like, my lawyer like, don't respond. Just keep keeping that evidence. Keep keeping it. Right? So it ended up getting dismissed or whatever. And they was like, oh, you want to keep the charges pressed against him? And I told them, no, I don't want to ruin his life. I said, because he ain't about to ruin mine. I said, just keep that stay away order for another 2 years, And that's how I wrapped it up. I refuse to participate in anything that ain't good for me. No Love Lost is about showing love to yourself and showing self-improvement, self-love, and self-care. It's about being selfish with yourself, that you don't empty your cup, giving it away to everyone else. You have to be the best version of yourself for yourself. This is No Love Lost 2.0. Make sure you check me out on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Help me out, y'all. YouTube, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. I'm on everywhere, y'all. Go to stream No Love Lost 2.0. And don't forget, one love. Yeah.